Top 25 Japan Airlines Cadet Program Interview Questions and Answers. Japan Airlines Cadet Program interviews are designed to test more than your dream of becoming a pilot. Interviewers want to see your motivation, discipline, communication skills, safety mindset, teamwork, problem-solving ability, and understanding of airline culture. Cadet pilot selection can include application screening, aptitude testing, interviews, and sometimes aviation knowledge or simulator-related assessments depending on the program and role. JAAL-related recruitment guidance commonly highlights interviews, aptitude tests, commitment to aviation, and knowledge of the airline or industry as important preparation areas. These 25 questions and answers will help you sound confident, mature, and ready for professional pilot training. 1. Why do you want to join the Japan Airlines Cadet Program? I want to join the Japan Airlines Cadet Program because I see it as a disciplined, structured, and professional pathway into airline aviation. Japan Airlines has a strong reputation for safety, service quality, and operational excellence, and those values match the kind of pilot I want to become. I am not only interested in flying an aircraft, I want to develop the judgment, responsibility, communication, and teamwork needed to carry passengers safely. This program would give me the right foundation to grow under a respected airline standard. 2. Why do you want to become a pilot? I want to become a pilot because the role combines responsibility, technical skill, discipline, and service. Flying is exciting, but what attracts me most is the level of professionalism required every day. A pilot must stay calm, follow procedures, communicate clearly, and make safe decisions even under pressure. I enjoy learning complex systems, working in a team, and improving through continuous training. For me, becoming a pilot is not just a career goal, it is a long-term commitment to safety, precision, and passenger trust. 3. What do you know about Japan Airlines? Japan Airlines is one of Japan's major international airlines and is known for its strong safety culture, high service standards, and professional operation. It serves domestic and international routes and represents Japanese hospitality, discipline, and reliability. I also understand that working for an airline like Japan Airlines requires more than technical ability. It requires respect for procedures, teamwork, cultural awareness, and strong customer focus. As a cadet applicant, I would prepare myself to meet those expectations by learning continuously and showing humility throughout training. 4. What qualities should a cadet pilot have? A cadet pilot should have discipline, responsibility, communication skills, emotional control, and a strong willingness to learn. At the cadet stage, nobody expects you to know everything, but they do expect the right attitude. A good cadet listens carefully, accepts feedback, studies consistently, and follows instructions without ego. Safety awareness is also essential, because even small mistakes in aviation can have serious consequences. I believe a cadet pilot must be humble, coachable, reliable, and mentally prepared for long-term professional development. 5. How do you handle pressure? I handle pressure by staying calm, organizing the situation, and focusing on the next correct action. I try not to let emotion control my decisions. Instead, I slow down mentally, identify the priority, and follow a logical process. In aviation, pressure can come from time, weather, technical issues, or communication challenges, so panic is never useful. I believe preparation reduces pressure, but when pressure still appears, clear thinking, teamwork, and procedure-based decision-making are the best ways to handle it. 6. Tell us about a time you worked in a team. In a team project, I once worked with people who had different opinions and working styles. At first, progress was slow because everyone focused on their own ideas. I suggested that we divide responsibilities clearly and agree on one shared goal. After that, communication became easier, and each person understood what they had to deliver. The experience taught me that teamwork is not just about being friendly, it is about listening, coordinating, respecting roles, and keeping the group focused on the final result. 7. How would you react if your instructor strongly criticized your performance? I would not take it personally. In pilot training, feedback is necessary because it helps improve safety and performance. If an instructor criticized my performance, I would listen carefully, ask for clarification if needed, and identify exactly what I must improve. After the session, I would review my mistake, practice the correct technique, and make sure I do not repeat it. I believe a cadet pilot must be teachable. Defensiveness slows improvement, but accepting feedback with maturity helps build professional standards. 8. What does safety mean to you in aviation? Safety means making the right decision even when it is inconvenient, delayed, or unpopular. In aviation, safety is not just one action. It is a mindset that affects preparation, communication, checklist discipline, risk management, and teamwork. A safe pilot does not ignore small warning signs or take shortcuts to save time. Safety also means being honest about your limits and speaking up when something is not right. For me, safety is the foundation of trust between the airline, crew, and passengers. 9. How would you handle a mistake during training? If I made a mistake during training, I would first acknowledge it honestly instead of hiding it or blaming others. Then I would analyze why it happened. Was it lack of knowledge, poor preparation, stress, or a misunderstanding? After understanding the cause, I would ask for guidance, practice the correct method, and track my improvement. In aviation, mistakes must become lessons, not habits. I believe the key is to respond with accountability, humility, and a serious plan to prevent the same mistake again. 10. Why should Japan Airlines select you? Japan Airlines should select me because I am serious about the responsibility of becoming a pilot, not just the image of the job. I am disciplined, willing to learn, and ready for the pressure of structured training. I understand that a cadet program requires consistency, patience, teamwork, and strong personal standards. I also respect the importance of safety and customer trust in aviation. I may still be developing technically, but I have the attitude, motivation, and commitment needed to grow into a professional airline pilot. 11. How do you manage your study routine? I manage my study routine by breaking large subjects into smaller goals and reviewing them consistently. For aviation training, I know that last-minute study is not enough because the material is technical and connected to real safety decisions. I would create a schedule, revise daily, test myself, and focus more on weak areas. I also believe in asking questions early instead of waiting until confusion becomes bigger. A strong routine helps reduce stress and builds the discipline needed for pilot training. 12. What is your biggest weakness? One weakness I am working on is that I sometimes spend too much time trying to perfect one task before moving to the next. While quality is important, I understand that aviation also requires time management and prioritization. I am improving this by setting clear time limits, focusing on the main objective, and asking myself what level of detail is necessary for the situation. This has helped me become more efficient while still maintaining accuracy and responsibility in my work. 13. How would you deal with conflict with another cadet? I would deal with conflict professionally and calmly. First, I would try to understand the other person's point of view instead of reacting emotionally. If the issue affected teamwork or training, I would speak with them privately and respectfully. My goal would be to solve the problem, not to prove who is right. In aviation, poor communication can affect performance, so conflict must be handled early and maturely. If needed, I would involve an instructor, but only after trying to resolve it responsibly. 14. What motivates you during difficult training days? What motivates me is remembering the responsibility and purpose behind the training. Difficult days are part of becoming a pilot, and they test whether someone truly has commitment. I would remind myself that every lesson, correction, and challenge is helping me become safer and more capable. I also believe progress is built through consistency, not only through easy days. When training becomes difficult, I would focus on one improvement at a time and keep a professional attitude instead of losing confidence. 15. How do you make decisions under uncertainty? When facing uncertainty, I try to gather the most important information, identify the risk, and choose the safest reasonable option. I avoid guessing when more clarification is available. In aviation, uncertainty must be managed through procedures, communication, and teamwork. If I were unsure during training, I would speak up and ask for guidance rather than pretending to know. A good pilot does not need to look confident all the time. A good pilot must make safe, informed decisions and use available resources wisely. 16. What would you do if you noticed another cadet ignoring safety rules? If I noticed another cadet ignoring safety rules, I would take it seriously because safety rules exist to protect everyone. First, I would speak to the cadet respectfully and remind them of the correct procedure. If the behavior continued or created immediate risk, I would report it to an instructor or supervisor. This would not be about getting someone in trouble. It would be about protecting the training environment. In aviation, staying silent about unsafe behavior can become a serious mistake. 17. How important is communication in the cockpit? Communication is extremely important in the cockpit because safe flight operations depend on clear information exchange. Pilots must communicate accurately with each other, air traffic control, cabin crew, and ground teams. Poor communication can create confusion, delay decisions, or increase risk. Good communication means being clear, concise, respectful, and willing to speak up when something seems wrong. It also means listening carefully. In a multi-crew environment, communication supports teamwork, situational awareness, and safe decision-making from pre-flight to landing. 18. How would you handle failure in the selection process or training? I would handle failure by treating it as feedback, not as the end of my ambition. First, I would review what went wrong and seek honest guidance. Then, I would create a plan to improve that specific area, whether it was technical knowledge, communication, confidence, or aptitude performance. Aviation requires resilience because training is demanding and mistakes can happen. What matters is how quickly and seriously a person learns. I would stay disciplined, improve, and come back stronger. 19. What do you understand about the role of a first officer? A first officer is not just someone who assists the captain. A first officer is a fully trained professional pilot responsible for safety, monitoring, communication, aircraft operation, and decision support. The role requires technical knowledge, situational awareness, and the confidence to speak up respectfully when something does not look right. A first officer must also be a strong team player and follow company procedures carefully. I understand that before becoming a captain, a pilot must first become a reliable and professional first officer. 20. How do you prepare before an important assessment? Before an important assessment, I prepare in a structured way. I first understand the format, topics, and expectations. Then I create a study plan and practice under realistic conditions, especially for timed tests or interviews. I also review my motivation, examples from my life, and basic aviation knowledge. Before the assessment, I focus on sleep, punctuality, documents, and calm presentation. Preparation is not only about knowledge, it is also about confidence, organization, and showing the assessors that I take the opportunity seriously. 21. What does professionalism mean to you? Professionalism means behaving responsibly even when nobody is watching. For a pilot, it includes punctuality, preparation, discipline, respectful communication, honesty, and safety awareness. It also means managing emotions and representing the airline positively. A professional person does not look for shortcuts or excuses. They take ownership of their duties. In a cadet program, professionalism begins with small habits: arriving prepared, listening carefully, following instructions, and respecting others. I believe professionalism is built daily through consistent actions, not only through words. 22. How would you handle a passenger who is nervous about flying? As a cadet pilot, I may not directly handle passengers in the same way cabin crew do, but I understand that pilots contribute to passenger confidence through professionalism and clear communication. If appropriate, I would support calm and reassuring communication. Nervous passengers need confidence, not technical overload. A simple, calm message can help them feel safe. More importantly, I would focus on performing my duties properly because the best reassurance comes from safe, professional operation and teamwork between the flight deck and cabin crew. 23. What aviation topic have you recently learned about? One aviation topic I have been learning about is crew resource management. It shows that safe flying is not only about technical skill, it is also about communication, teamwork, leadership, decision-making, and workload management. Many aviation incidents have shown the importance of speaking up, cross-checking, and avoiding assumptions. I find this topic important because cadet pilots must learn early that safety is a team responsibility. Technical knowledge matters, but human factors can strongly affect the outcome of a flight. 24. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? In 10 years, I see myself as a professional airline pilot who has grown through continuous training, operational experience, and strong safety standards. My goal would be to become a reliable first officer and later progress toward greater responsibility when I am ready. I also want to represent the airline with professionalism and contribute positively to the team culture. I understand that aviation careers require patience and lifelong learning, so my focus is not only promotion but becoming safer, wiser, and more dependable year by year. 25. Do you have any questions for us? Yes, I would like to ask what qualities Japan Airlines values most in cadets who successfully complete the training program. I would also like to know how cadets are supported when they face challenges during training. These questions are important to me because I want to understand not only how to enter the program, but how to succeed in it with the right mindset. I am very serious about this opportunity and want to prepare myself according to the airline's expectations. Preparing for the Japan Airlines Cadet Program interview requires more than memorizing answers. You need to show that you understand the responsibility of becoming a pilot. Interviewers want candidates who are disciplined, calm under pressure, safety-focused, coachable, and mature enough to grow through demanding training. Practice your answers, but keep them natural and honest. Use real examples where possible, speak clearly, and show respect for Japan Airlines standards. If you can combine motivation with professionalism, teamwork, and a strong learning attitude, you will give yourself a much better chance of standing out in the selection process.